To fly freely at the speed of sound, like a fighter jet. To fearlessly withstand all attacks, like a tank. To wield the weaponry of a fortress, a warship. What if all these superpowers were compressed into the left arm of a single soldier? I'm not talking about some sort of comic book hero. What you're looking at is the next generation of soldiers who will defend world peace. The area. What? Welcome to fucking Ciconia when they cry. The new game by Ryokishi 07. I already fucked up reading this. And if you don't like visual novels, click this video away now, because this will be a long one. This will be replacing my visual novel slot, and after this one we might be doing Your Turn to Die or continue with Umineko. But for now, this is new, this is fresh. It's apparently really good. The music already is pumping me up. Let's go back into this. Narrator says, the aerial augmented infantry, otherwise known as the Gauntlet Knights. I'm sorry for screwing this up, by the way. Well, this elegant gauntlet, worn on the left arm and reminiscent of medieval knights, contains all the weapons and technology humanity has given birth to thus far. Is it also a microwave and a fridge and a Hoover? Or is it just weaponry? It controls all the 8 MS in their bodies and the surrounding air, enabling them to free themselves from the laws of the surface world and surpass them. Who? That felt like some kind of 70s cartoon transition. The video showed a lone boy soldier wearing a gauntlet on his left arm, standing on a massive airstrip. A whistle blew, and his body floated upwards about 10 centimeters. He literally was floating. Cutting-edge 8MS techniques made it possible to create and control force fields, releasing his body from gravity. Wow, the sound is really loud. The whistle blew again and his floating body danced like a bird, flitting about the space over the airstrip at will. Gauntlets give soldiers the same mobility as an aircraft. Their maximum speed is in no way inferior to the best fighter jets from around the world. And the powerful Gs that would normally put a harsh burden on them have been eased thanks to the anti-G 8MS in their bodies. This allows them to fly in ways pilots of existing aircraft could never even dream of. Couldn't you give the gauntlets to a pilot and then they could fly an actual plane? Seems not as fragile. And when taken to an extreme, even ricochet flying is possible. IOU! The video changed scenes. A Gauntlet Knight, practicing in the skies above the training grounds, was being recorded from behind by a friendly plane in pursuit. Okay, one moment the Gauntlet Knight was flying in the elegant familiar way of a plane, and the next, its trajectory became complicated and bizarre, as if it was being bounced at odd angles like the diffuse reflection of light. Oh, so this is what they mean, so he can immediately change direction without losing momentum? Because it looked like they were rebounding fiercely off the walls of a pipe as they flew, this was known as ricochet flying. As the word ricochet suggests, the Gauntlet Knight kept flying at fierce, sharp angles without losing any of their speed. Normally, flying like this would put enormous G's on their brain and all over the body, likely killing them instantly. However, 8MS tech has freed them from all of the ground's restrictions. Even amazing mid-air movements like these are now possible. And I want you to pay close attention to this footage. This is a fire control system trying to target a Gauntlet Knight. As it tried to target a ricochet flying Gauntlet Knight, a computer-controlled sight indicator with prediction lines kept appearing and disappearing. The Knight's movement, which ignored the common sense of physics, confused the fire control system, and it was completely unable to lock onto its target. All fire control systems created so far were completely useless against Gauntlet Knights. Okay, but wouldn't you be able to adapt to that? Though they can display this level of mid-air mobility, Gauntlet Knights are not planes. They truly are infantry. Aerial augmented infantry. Their ability to land and take off is completely unrestricted, so they can carry out tactical operations anywhere a human is able to stand. By this point, Gauntlet Knights already possessed all the strengths of fighter jets, VTOL aircraft and helicopters. So then, what about their weaponry? You're probably thinking that, regardless of the mobility, they'll be completely useless if they don't have the firepower to take down their targets. But when it comes to Gauntlet Knights, it's an utterly needless concern. What does it say? I can't read that font at all. I guess it says the Dimension Container System. That's a fucked up font. The Dimension Container System brought about by cutting-edge 4DP technology. Whenever I read DP, I can't stop. I mean, made it possible for a person to take massive arsenals of weapon and ammunition with them. Yeah, massive. The scene changed. A boy soldier who was apparently a Gauntlet Knight stood still in what looked like a vehicle service station. Set about him in a radial pattern were all sorts of weapons and ammunition, like a weapon bargain sale. There were rows and rows of missiles designed for fighter jets, just as many precision smart bombs, and even several heavy torpedoes designed for major warships. This was clearly more weaponry than your average fighter jet. Furthermore, there were howitzers and the ammunition laid out alongside them, as well as multi-barreled machine guns with ammo belts folded several times over. And that wasn't all. There were also reconnaissance drones, several types of signal flares, ammunition resupply containers, and various construction kits, with everything down to the slightest detail back then. This massive set of military ordnance can all be carried by a single Gauntlet Knight. And if they specialize in carrying capacity, they can fit in the same amount of weaponry as an attack carrier. How and where? Do they have a pocket dimension or something? Witness the armament of a battleship and the mobility of a fighter jet. This is a Gauntlet Knight. But that's not all! They also possess an ultimate technique that cannot be reproduced with any currently existing weaponry. Watch and learn. The scene changed, yet again, and it now appeared to be an outdoor shooting range. I wonder what else they could do other than shooting weapons, which is like the ultimate form of fighting anyway. The same Gauntlet Knight boy soldier stepped forward. Several adult soldiers stood side by side some distance away, all pointing guns at him. Why is he a boy and everyone else is an adult? Immediately after a whistle blew, the sound of gunfire and smoke rushed towards the boy, as though a bunch of firecrackers had been set off. That was it. Nothing happened. It was a bit of a letdown. Do you understand what just happened? Let's slow it down a bit. The same scene was replayed in super slow motion. Bullets really were thrown from the barrels of the guns held by the soldiers. However, they were all bounced back, along with a white glow from a spot directly in front of the Gauntlet Knight. Oh, they can do magic, of course. I mean, sure, you just need to believe, right? The next time a whistle blew, a soldier who had been lying prone and wielding a light machine gun sent a signal, then laid down a powerful barrage. It was so fierce, you could see what was happening clearly now, even without the slow motion. It's the breakdown shield or something, or reflection shield? This is the invincible defense Gauntlet Knights proudly... What? This is the invincible defense Gauntlet Knights proudly wield. The rejection shield. Yeah, that's it. Man, some of these sentences are weirdly structured. The scene changed again. The same soldier boy was standing in a different part of the shooting range, but this time the camera was far away from him. Is he gonna blow? Oh, I called it. Fuck me. They always do it like that though. Every time you notice that the camera is away from something in the distance, just expect a bomb to go off. After a countdown, the boy was swallowed up by a massive explosion like something out of a Hollywood film. But when the flames disappeared, he was still standing there with a blank expression as though nothing had happened. An invincible defense. An easy control over the skies. and the ability to use endless weapons at will. And every little bit of that is all compressed into a single Gauntlet Knight. In this new era, the numbers representing the military might of nations will surely shrink drastically. All we'll need to know is how many talented Gauntlet Knights each nation has. Oh, that seems to be kinda dangerous though. Since if you can keep track of it that easy, it will fuck up power balance like crazy. The screen changed several more times, showing various scenes of Gauntlet Knights training. Sometimes they led fighter jet formations, and sometimes they led aircraft carrier fleets. Well, I guess you can keep the other stuff, but a single Gauntlet Knight should be enough to just rip them. Then they landed jauntily on the ground, surrounded by a tank division. Come, boys and girls yearning to become defenders of peace. Wouldn't you like to join those who stand at the head of all militaries of peace, blazing the way into a new era? The aerial augmented infantry awaits you. The moment you put a gauntlet on your left arm, you will become a Gauntlet Knight! Well, I would join them. They sold me. Very nicely made. Do you think you could get it a bit shorter though? My back's starting to hurt. Nah. The old officer rose from his seat in the projection room, rubbing his back. He's a very much decorated soldier, apparently. A young... Sorry, I read ahead a bit. A young, voluptuous female officer who seemed to be a private secretary helped him up. Please have a Sprite. Please have a Sprite. Please have a Sprite. Ah, crap, she doesn't. Oh no, sir. We cannot make it any shorter in light of the regulations. Is that so? Very well, very well. Ooh. What's happening? By the way, kids like explosions, right? Bang boom and all that. We've gotta add more flashy scenes. Also, the hook in the first 15 seconds is important, understand? So they are trying to churn out the propaganda machine, I think. This movie, this little clip. I mean, it felt like one. It felt like something in... like a military recruitment video in this... It had a very 70s feel, actually, yeah. I studied film back in the day, so I know all about it. When the old officer started talking proudly, the other officers all took out notepads at once and made a show of writing it down diligently. Look who this is! It's our boy Okonogi! Ah, he's in this one as well. Look at this moronic video they made. As if just putting a robot toy on your arm could turn anyone into a superhuman being. In the first place, these aerial augmented infantry things are still just theoretical. Oh, so all of this was just Photoshop, I guess. If it was just a portable system for individual flight wielded by specialist troops, that would be realistic enough. But then you throw in one bit of ridiculous technology after another and call them Gauntlet Knights? What are they, superheroes from some American comic book? True, there weren't any lies in their catalogued specs. They could fly like fighter jets, carry weaponry like battleships, and set up invincible barriers like tanks. In the propaganda video, the brat looked like he was flying around happily. Still, the shock reduction provided by NTG ADMS isn't invincible. He did a bit too much ricochet flying, and after the shoot, the capillaries in his eyeballs ruptured, eventually rendering him unconscious. Fuck. If only they'd filmed it in one take, he'd probably still be able to see. Holy shit, that's dark. Even a dimension container, which worked like a 4-dimensional pocket. Okay, yeah. I mean, I could say that makes sense, but let's be honest, it doesn't. It kept having issues. Just how many brats have been turned to mincemeat when they tried to open it up, and then immediately got hit by an explosion before they could fire up their rejection shields. Even that rejection shield had only become stable very recently. And if it doesn't work perfectly when a brat's flying at 800 kilometers per hour, which is... wow, all it takes is a lazily flying pigeon to smash their heads to bits. Well, we'll soon have plenty of breads to work with. Put up flashy ads that at least look good, and you'll find all the stupid kits you need. After all, anyone would want to do it. If I'd been in my teens, and someone told me I could become the face of our entire military flying unaided through the sky, I'd be screwed too. Still, a bird in the hand's worth two in the bush. In the end, it'll just be an e-sport where you can't really fly outside the simulator. What? Is this Ender's Game or something? By the way, the aerial... Why does this word trip me up so much? Is it because the music is incredibly loud in my ears, or is the AE just fucking me? The aerial augmented infantry boy in this video really is young and bold. I'd like to get a chance to meet him. Do you think you could bring him to dinner tonight? Oh god, old man inviting little boys to dinner? Ryukishi, what the fuck? Oh, that sounds excellent. Captain Okonogi! Major General, sir. I'm afraid to say that he's already perished in the line of duty. What? Is that true? What a shame. He looked magnificent, so I was hoping to give his career a boost. Too bad, too bad. Truth be told, that explosion scene in the video just now was also the scene of his death, Major General, sir. Is he just thinking this, or is he... he's not saying this, right? He's just thinking this. The filming schedule was a bit too rushed, so he must have been overworked. He screwed up with his shield during the flashiest scene at the very end. Thanks to that, we were forced to edit it to make it look like he'd survived the massive blast. God damn it, it's not like we've got the budget for this kind of thing. Sir, it's about time you went to your car. Oh, okay. Well done, keep up the good work, everyone. Also, everyone's eyes will be on the Aerial Augmented Infantry Division at the Battle Standard Festival, so make sure you give it your all. By the way, I believe a contestant from here in Japan will be representing the AOU, correct? Oh, do we finally get an intro now? This is our main protagonist, I believe. It's a boy, yeah, might look like a girl. And it has the legs of a girl, the face of a girl, the statue of a girl, but apparently it's a boy. It's the only thing I know. Yes, sir. It's Second Lieutenant Mitake Miao of the 17th Aerial Augmented Infantry Squad, Warcat. Damn it, if that skinny brat's supposed to be representing the rising sun at the International Battle Standard Festival, this world really is screwed. Come on, open your eyes. Oh. Oh, here we go. This is the intro. Ciconia when they cry. Welcome to A3W when they cry 5. This is the first time I've booted up the game, so what's this button? What's the archive? Homepage, return to title. I was looking for maybe something like options. Hello? This is just... Switch to English. Okay, I just switched it to Japanese. Man, it would be really useful if you could read it. Okay. We'll switch to English again and then we'll start. Maybe the game will give me the option of sound later on or something, or I can always edit it for you at least. So anyway, wait a second, we can continue now. I don't have any save games. Oh my god, the sound design already. So let's start with phase 1. Thank you for waiting so long for us to prepare. Now I will finally start up the game. However, are you sure about this? This is merely my personal opinion, but I believe the difficulty level is quite high given the present circumstances. Still, I am well aware that you know the joy of achieving victory, especially over conditions such as that. This is a considerably high tier of difficulty. After all, your opponent is already fully prepared. Is this gonna be another time loop story? Are we gonna experience the same story from different angles or with slight differences several times? I don't know. How many phases will there be? This game was kinda expensive for a visual novel and for a single episode, to be honest. Even more expensive than the Umineko when it released, I think. Warning, this work was created in Japan in the year 2019. We cannot guarantee that possession of this work in the country you currently live in conforms to your country's current laws. Furthermore, if possession of this work results in any sort of damages, we cannot be held responsible for compensation. Do they really have to put that in? Why? I mean, I'm not taking my computer, slap it on my arm and start to just be shot or something. Additionally, distributing this work on the internet without the creator's consent is forbidden. You must agree to pay us 10 million Japanese yen if you break this rule. If you do not agree to take personal responsibility for owning and reading this work and the risk involved in doing so, we ask that you uninstall it immediately. I can only hope that this doesn't mean that I can't upload it. I'm gonna have to look this up. Fuck. I mean, I don't want to spoil anyone on this, but if you click this video, you know what you're getting into, right? And I just want to get this out as soon as possible because I've actually been hyped for this for a long time. This is a work of fiction. Here it is. Any similarities to real individuals, groups, religions, and all of creation, the will of the universe, plans of God, or Vatican document number 34 are entirely coincidental. Stop memeing us, Ryokishi. This work does not approve of any specific ideology, nor does it represent the ideology of its creators. Oh, here we go! To all video uploaders, for this first phase you have permission to record and distribute videos up until the end of the 7th chapter. Poyo? I'll let you know when you get there, Poyo. Okay, when will they change that though? Because I kind of want to upload it all. But I'm not gonna go against their will. So, 7th chapter. Okay. How many chapters are there? It's gonna be halfway through the game. Maybe the first third? Who knows? I don't. How long is this anyway? 20 hours? 30? Is it longer or shorter than one Umineko book? The top of Super Tokyo Tower is set 666 meters above the ground. Surrounding it, the scenery of the night stretched as far as the horizon. The hustle and bustle of the surface didn't reach this place, nor did its troubles and complications. The sky is the only place we can be truly free. And there, atop the antenna mast at the peak of the tower, I stood. My fear of heights is now little more than a fond memory. Why would it be fond? Because you overcame it? Of course, that's not really such a great thing. In your everyday life, if you jump out a 3rd-story window and seriously hurt yourselves because you can't be bothered to go down a staircase, well, that's just a joke among people like us, but a pretty common one. Oh, who's this? Why is he so huge? Just to check, I glanced at my left arm. Oh, it's just a zoom of our left arm, I guess. It was clad in a bulky contraption that resembled some piece of European armor. That device, which extended from my shoulder to my fingertips, was unsurprisingly called a gauntlet. Knowing it was there meant that I could relax and forget about the laws of physics. There are no voices in this, by the way. You must have noticed before, but I'm gonna voice all the characters. Maybe I'll give them different voices, maybe not. All depends. Also, my style of reading this will be slightly different to the Umineko I've done so far. I will give my little commentary along the way. Not a lot though. I'll focus on reading it, and I'll try to just do it as quickly as possible and as coherent as possible. And if there's a good music track, I might listen to it for a few seconds. I'm sorry. Phew. I let out a deep breath and gathered my wits. Then, I slowly extended my right foot into the black void, the nighttime sea. Gravity pulled on my entire body, and I slowly fell forward. I dove into the nighttime sea. The gentle change caused by gravity was soon accelerating me towards the ground at an incredible pace. I was in freefall, with the positions of heaven and earth swapped. In natural freefall, without any force field manipulation, feels the best. My body felt faster and faster. I can never get enough of this sense of acceleration. I was probably getting near the ground, but it felt as though I could sink forever through that black nighttime sea. Part of me wanted to wax poetic, but this was simple vertigo. The sum of my mental data, not including sight, left me fully aware of the speed and trajectory of my fall, as well as the surrounding terrain at the time to impact. You're a cheeky one, aren't you? And smug as well. The instant before I smashed into the asphalt of the Shuto Expressway, I kicked off the empty air. The ballistic curve of my descent snapped into a right angle. In the vacant space I'd launched from, something blossomed, delicately bathed in white phosphorescence. They floated in the air, incredibly beautiful, almost as though an angel's feathers had been scattered about. And another intro, just in case we needed it, Ciconia when they cry.